MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to Montana This Morning. It is 5:30. I couldn't remember if I said the time yet or if I said the day of the week, but I said it's Thursday morning.
Well, you got them both
it's
right.
It's 5:30.
So it's good.
I'm Victoria Hill, and this is Miller.
Hello.
He's teaching me the time today.
Well, you know, you've been off the last couple of days, so sometimes it takes a little bit to get back in the groove, especially when we have to get up way before the crack of dawn. You know, kind of get back in the swing of things. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but I did not wake up that early. I slept till like 6 each day, which is pretty nice.
She slept till 6. That's sleeping in
That's
for us.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I know. How about that? All right, let's go ahead and talk some weather real quick. As we wake up this morning, we do have a little bit of light surface smoke. It's a little thicker the higher up you go, like in the higher elevations. Definitely a chance to maybe smell more of that smoke. And this has the possibility of getting thicker as we go along later on this afternoon, and we could wake up to really smoky conditions tomorrow. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's all about the winds shifting, but there is that possibility. I just wanted to throw that out there. So we wake up and get up at Adam. We're at 60 right now. That's exactly where we should be as we wake up this morning with our temperatures. Humidity at 62%. Winds out of the south at about 9 miles an hour. Let's take a look at temperatures quickly around the viewing area. Gardner at 51. We've got Big Timber at 59. We're 54 in Huntley, 53 down at Crow Agency, 63 in Graybull over in Sheridan. We're at 54. Highs today, you see a lot of 90s across the board, and we're only getting hotter. For the most part, we are going to stay dry, but we do have a little blast of weak energy coming in today and going to hold on to that tomorrow. So maybe some isolated showers late tonight, maybe more widely scattered showers tomorrow. We could see some isolated thunderstorms with that as well, but not big rainmakers. In fact, these thunderstorms may be rather dry. What they'll do is bring some wind and some lightning, so that'll raise the fire concerns, especially tomorrow. Today's highs getting up to about 97. That's well above average where we should be. Lots of sunshine to start, and then a few clouds coming in later today and tonight. That's when that chance of rain may start to tippy-toe in. Victoria.
All right, tippy-toe on in, stomp in if you want to, rain, because we need you.
Yes, we need it. Man, boy, you're right.
All right, Miller, thank you so much for that weather update. Now it's time for that news update. Thanks. Our top story this morning, a unanimous decision. Montana's legislative Republicans will not gain access to internal court emails and documents from the state judiciary. The Supreme Court ruling came down yesterday. GOP lawmakers subpoenaed the documents as part of an investigation into potential bias within the state's courts. They actually obtained some documents back in April, but the unanimous court will not only struck down the subpoenas yesterday, but said they cannot be reissued and that all documents must be returned. Justices said if lawmakers think judges have acted unethically, they can file a complaint with the Judicial Standards Commission. The Republican who chairs the committee to investigate the judiciary called the decision judicial activism at its worst, poisoned by massive conflict of interest. A man is dead after a fire at the Casa Village mobile home park in Billings. It happened last night on Goldstrike Drive at the park near Monad Road and South 24th Street West. The man was found on the porch outside of a mobile home. Fire officials say about half the home was destroyed by the flames. No one else was injured and no other buildings were damaged. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A new report shows drug overdose deaths across the U.S. increased by 30% between 2019 and 2020. It was a similar story here in Montana, where overdose deaths were up 12%. Here in Billings, the additional drug use is showing up through the number of people seeking help. In 2019, the Rimrock Foundation saw more than 350 referrals for people who needed help with addiction. That number grew to nearly 630 last year. Officials say the trend goes hand in hand with the pandemic.
The pandemic actually produced a second epidemic, and that is mental health crisis and an increase of substance use disorders. Our phones are ringing off the hook.
92,000 Americans died from overdose in 2020. 157 of them were Montanans. A new wildfire is burning on the Crow Reservation. The Blacktail Creek fire is on the wall of Bighorn Canyon just north of Blacktail Creek. It was started by lightning, has burned about 50 acres, and is not threatening any structures. A half dozen smoke jumpers and 2 helicopters were fighting the fire Wednesday afternoon. Meanwhile, crews have made such good progress on the MY complex fires in Muscle County. Many firefighters will soon leave to fight other fires across the state. The 3 fires making up the MY complex have burned about 28,000 acres. But the largest of the fires, the Muscle Trail Road fire, is now completely contained. The Western Road fire sits at 79% containment. The Peterson fire is 26% contained. Over in Carbon County, the state's largest wildfire is 85% contained. The Robertson Draw fire was human caused. Fire officials say all but the northwest corner of the fire has been secured. All of this fire activity has led Governor Greg Gianforte to declare a statewide emergency. Nearly 1,400 wildfires in Montana have already burned more than 141,000 acres. The governor's executive order will help obtain additional resources and tools for state wildland firefighters and gives the governor the power to call in help from the Montana National Guard. It will also provide relief for local and volunteer firefighters who have been strained under this record-setting fire season. Turning now to the latest on the pandemic. The White House brought in one of the world's biggest musicians to encourage young Americans to get vaccinated. It comes at a time when COVID-19 cases are on the rise in nearly every part of the country. CBS's Tina Kraus has the latest.
From Texas to California, there's no question who is still getting sick from COVID-19.
Over 99% of our COVID admissions have not been vaccinated. It's dramatic. It's stark. It is undeniable.
99% of all the cases occurring in the U.S. right now, certainly hospitalizations and deaths, are among unvaccinated people.
Driven mostly by the Delta variant, new cases in 48 states are up at least 10%. In 32 states, they are up 50% or more.
Youth vaccination.
Pop star Olivia Rodrigo visited President Biden at the White House and encouraged younger Americans to get their shots. Just a quarter of the country's 12 to 15-year-olds are fully vaccinated.
It's important to have conversations with friends and family members, encouraging all communities to get vaccinated.
Dr. Joseph Chang says those conversations are the best way to reach skeptics.
Find our friends and family, because we all have them. Tell them how good you feel about being protected.
In Missouri, beauty salons and barbershops around St. Louis will soon be places where residents can learn more about vaccines.
Barbershops and beauty salons are trusted places in many communities. Places where people go not just to take care of their hair, but to catch up on current events and exchange information.
Fewer than 50% of adults in Missouri are fully protected against COVID-19. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
In Chicago, unvaccinated travelers from Missouri and Arkansas will need to quarantine for 10 days or show a negative COVID test. Also making headlines this morning, the Biden administration says the U.S. will not leave behind Afghan interpreters and translators who helped America's military effort throughout the conflict. The White House says they want to recognize and value the role they played over the years. The flights for what's being called Operation Allies Rescue will start later this month. The White House would not say how many Afghans would be evacuated or where they would go. Starting today, millions of families will be able to access a new round of federal funds. The child tax credit is up from $2,000 to $3,600 for kids 6 and under and $3,000 for older children. Half the money will be paid out over 6 months, and parents will have to claim the rest on their tax returns. Families have to make a certain amount to qualify. For a married couple filing jointly, that's $150,000 or less. The IRS will send out money based on last year's tax return, so people who started making more money this year and no longer qualify for the credit need to go to irs.gov and opt out. A major legal victory for pop star Britney Spears. The 39-year-old singer is one step closer to ending the conservatorship that she's lived under for more than a decade. And as CBS's Bradley Blackburn reports, her fans are celebrating.
It is the rallying cry for Britney Spears fans across the country.
What do we want? Free Britney!
And from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., this was more than a circus. It was a real celebration of a legal win.
I mean, it's really sad that she was allowed to live in this type of situation for 13 years.
On Wednesday, a Los Angeles judge ruled Spears can hire her own attorney as she fights to end a court-ordered conservatorship that's been in place for 13 years. She's hired a former federal prosecutor.
My firm and I are going to be taking a top-to-bottom look at what's happened here over the past decade.
Spears wants her father, Jamie Spears, removed as her conservator. He's responsible for her financial affairs. The hearing came just weeks after Spears made stunning allegations against the conservatorship, saying she was forced to work against her will and use a contraceptive device to prevent her from having any more kids. During a call to the court yesterday, Britney sobbed as she accused her dad of abuse.
Pursuant to Britney Spears' instructions, we will be moving promptly and aggressively for his removal.
On Instagram, Spears posted video of herself doing cartwheels and wrote, quote, "With new representation today, I feel gratitude." She thanked those dedicated fans who argue this is about mental health and individual rights.
This is about a human being that has had her civil rights and human rights stripped away from her.
If she wins her case, Spears has said she may retire from singing. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Britney says she plans to press charges against her father. The outcome of this case could have a ripple effect on the more than 1 million Americans under conservatorships that control about $50 billion in assets.